Time is running out, guys. If you want to get your chance to win our wide body 2008 STI, every $1 you spend on our website, whether it be on performance parts or merchandise, gives you one entry to win. Good luck.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Throttle. I'm Mickey Andrade, and today we're going to be working on the Freak, which, if you aren't familiar with our channel, is our rear-wheel drive Honda Civic project. And if you're wondering what the Freak stands for, we get this question a lot. It actually stands for F, front engine, R, rear-wheel drive, EK, F-R-E-K. So we were calling it the FREK, and it just turned into the Freak. So that's the explanation on that. In a previous episode, we've got our tunnel about 95% done. So we've got a coat of primer on it so it doesn't rust for the time being. And now we're gonna focus our attention on the rear of the car. As you can see here, we've removed a large portion of the back seat of the car. Basically, we're not putting any seats back in this. You're probably wondering why I still have this portion of the floor pan in. And there's good reason for that. Basically, we left that in until we got our fuel cell. Now, we've been waiting on our fuel cell for quite a while. It was custom made for this project. We now have it in hand. And so now at this point, we're gonna take some measurements, and I'll now remove this material from the floor pan. So what we have here is a 10-gallon fuel-safe fuel cell. Any race car, usually, they're almost always running a fuel-safe or a fuel cell. Fuel-safe seems to be one of the most popular, and I've had good luck with their products in the past, so I went ahead and chose them for this project as well. You're probably wondering why not just keep the factory fuel tank? And there's a couple reasons for that. The first reason is the rear differential now resides where our fuel tank once was. So that is no longer an option unless we made a very small fuel tank that would fit above it or on the side of it. And I didn't want to go with a small fuel capacity. I want to be able to use this car. I want to be able to put more than 4 or 5 gallons in it at a time and be able to drive this thing at the track for as long as I feel like, and not have to keep topping it off every time I come off the track. What's cool about these is there's actually a bladder inside of here that actually holds the fuel. And this is also filled with a foam inside to keep the fuel from sloshing around. This is a really state-of-the-art piece of equipment, and it's gonna be right at home inside our Freak build. I'm really looking forward to building the carriage for it, and I think it's gonna be just what the doctor ordered. Now, in order to get the fuel into this, we've got a cap on here just to keep dust out, but this is where the fuel is gonna go in. So I called up my homies at Sparco, and I ordered up a fuel neck, which happens to be the same size as our fuel filler neck here. And I also ordered up a locking Sparco fuel cap. So most of the time when people are building race cars, they usually mount the Sparco cap on the outside of the car. Being that I want to retain a street look for this car on the exterior, I am gonna go ahead and actually utilize the factory fuel door area. What's cool is this actually fits right inside our factory location. So then this will obviously go on the back of the sheet metal, and then our nice pretty cap goes on top with the locking mechanism and closes that off. Now earlier today I took a run over to Industrial Metal Supply. Whenever we need some materials, we just give them a call. It's nice to have them just up the street here in San Diego. They do have other locations around the country, so if you're in need of materials for a project, definitely look up Industrial Metal Supplies. I actually calculated in my head how much material I needed and what style I wanted. I went ahead and picked up some 1.5 inch by 3/4 inch rectangular tube. And so this is hollow, it is 14 gauge. And then I went ahead and also got some 1 inch by 1 inch steel tube, and it is also 14 gauge. What that's gonna allow me to do is actually build a carriage that's gonna go underneath this fuel cell and also capture in that whole area of floor that I've already cut out. All right, well, now that we got the tray cut out, this was removed just a little bit ago, and it came out fairly simple, just a nice straight edge across the rear rails. And I did remove the bumper bar just for now. That will be getting put back on. So this is essentially how it looks in here. We got plenty of room for the fuel cell. I just need to decide how low I want it to hang down. Just went ahead and used an old wheel and built up some 2x4s to see if I can get a good idea of how it's gonna look. You can see it sits about 2 inches higher than our rear subframe brace. So that is pretty good, actually. I'm pretty happy with that height. We have to go underneath the cell as well with some metal materials to support the weight.
A little later.
I did go ahead and cut two 27-inch rectangle steel tubing. These are gonna sit under the edge of the fuel cell like that, so you can sort of understand how I'm gonna do this. And then I'm gonna go ahead and nutsert this, and this box will actually bolt to the frame that I'm gonna be making. All right, well, I went ahead and got those 27-inch pieces of rectangle stock cut, and they're ready to go. I went ahead and prepped the welding surfaces on the car, and I'm gonna go ahead and use some zinc weld from SEM to treat those areas before I tack these 27-inch rectangle stocks into place. Well, I've gone ahead and applied 3 tacks to each one of these rectangular tubes, and so now you can understand how I'm going to capture the fuel cell. The fuel cell is basically going to rest on here and actually can bolt in on the sides if we want. For now, we're just going to tack it all in place and get the main structure built together. All right, now that we've got this thing hung and our frame is started, we're gonna focus our attention on the bottom now. As you can see, we've got her captured really nice here. Our frame is up against the back of the car, and this is 1.5 inches away from the back of the car. So what I'm gonna do now is take some measurements of this distance here from the bottom of our frame to the bottom of the can, and we're gonna build some support straps that go underneath, down the front, underneath, and up the back to make sure that we're supporting the weight of this 10 gallons of fuel. It's not excessive, but just in case we have any type of impact on the bottom or side or anything like that, or just G-loads from driving the car, we don't want it moving around any, and we want to be able to have this thing supported. We don't want all the weight supported on the flange where it's bolted together. One other thing to address while we're under here is you're probably wondering, I mentioned that I moved this as far back as possible, and you're probably wondering, well, what happens if someone rear ends your car? Well, that's the beauty of using a fuel-safe fuel cell, is they're actually, they take that into account when they build these. The bladder that's inside this aluminum or this steel can is actually meant to take an impact. So if I were to get rear-ended by another car or race car or something like that, I'm in good hands. Fuel-safe products are very safe. That's what they're built for. I've made quite a bit of progress here. I actually started the front part as well. So that's gonna be basically a flat panel. This will be our battery area, and this will be our gas area. So we're moving right along. For now, I gotta start cleaning up after I knock out like 3 or 4 welds, and then I'll pick back up in the morning with you guys. We're back with the Freak today. I did spend a little bit of time this morning grinding down some of the welds and just sort of smoothing this out with some Scotch-Brite and getting everything so that the gas can from Fuel Safe goes in and out really smooth, and it does. What I'm going to start on today is I cut the floor pan out a little too wide here. For here, we're going to make a beauty panel that actually welds in, covers this whole area, meets up with our 1.5 inch tubing up there. I'm gonna go ahead and cut out these beauty panels with our Lincoln plasma cutter and fold them on our Eastwood bender. Now that the pieces are cut out with the Lincoln plasma cutter, I went ahead and just prepped it with the Whizzy wheel and made my line at 1.5 inches. And I'm gonna head over to our Eastwood sheet metal brake and shear and stick it in here and give it a bend. Rip. All right, got our 90-degree bend, and now we got to go start shaping this thing, because there is some on the floor pan, there's some raised areas that we got to trim around. Should lay in nice, as you guys can see here. Basically what we're doing is filling this gap, and as you can see, we're hitting here in this raised area, but we got our measurements correct. Just got to go ahead and work a little finesse with the Whizzy wheel and clear in some material so it sits nice and flat. And I tricked you guys. I actually did one side already and it turned out really good. So I'm going to show you that. It is just tacked into place at the moment. And all those welds will be sorted out once it's done. But so now you guys can kind of see my vision. It's nice and straight. And we'll nutsert this panel all the way down. And we'll have a very nice flat panel that'll go in there, lay in, and can be removable when I need to.
A little later.
Okay, well, just about got it fitted up. As you can see, I had to cut out a bit on the sides, and I notched out the end piece here so that it fits in here nice, drops right in, and should weld up nice. Alright, so I got the panels whipped up. As you can see, it fits in there like a glove. Closes off that area like that. We'll go ahead and weld those in. And again, that will get seam sealed once this is finalized. So, making some good progress today.
A little later.
Alright, well, I didn't bore you guys with me tack welding in these side plates, but they are in now and looking nice. Nice and sealed. I'm still thinking about this battery situation. I want to bury it in here because it's like the perfect spot to put it, right in here. Fast forward a few minutes and I decided it's time to start cutting our panels for the top of our carriage here, or cradle, however we want to call it. And so I've decided to go with aluminum for this piece. I've got some protected aluminum. This has got a white film on it to keep it from getting scratched while we're working on it. Here's the last look before I head home for the night. Fuel cell in its home. This is where the battery is going to reside. I haven't figured out still how I'm going to mount it yet, but I do want to put it here. And I will be back in the morning to pick right up where we left off. Hey, I'm back. So, made a battery tray today, which is already mounted in the car, as you can see here. Essentially, use the cross member support and just some angle iron from Industrial Metal Supply. Went in there today. Picked it up, cut some 45s, fashioned it up for a Optima battery, as I've determined is going to go right there. And a lot of you are probably wondering why I put the battery so close to the fuel cell, and that is because I am confident that with the way we're going to have it wired and with the fuel safe fuel cell being in place, we're not going to have any issues with fuel and lithium-ion battery. We're in good shape. Now I need to go back and revisit the covers. All right, well, I just cut out a couple panels for the inside to cover up the shell that we built for the rear. And I'm gonna go ahead and pop this in real quick so you guys can have a sort of a gander what it's gonna look like when it's all done. So that's gonna lay right there like that. So now you can get the big picture. Obviously, we need to cut this out for the fuel cell, cut this out for the battery.
A little later.
I whipped up the rest of this aluminum panel. So I put some green protective tape on, but as you can see, I've cut out the battery cutout, and I've just got it clecoed in for now. And I've gone ahead and marked where I'm gonna put all the fasteners that go in to hold this panel down. And as you can see, I've started playing around with the gas door. I did go ahead and drill the holes already, and I'm actually gonna use the factory sheet metal as our mounting surface. I was thinking about building my own plate and putting a different angle on the filler, but I like the angle that this has from the factory for the gravity feed portion because we are trying to feed it into this over here. I thought by basically changing the angle to more flat would help us come through this flat area up here a little easier, instead of with the angle that we have currently, we're gonna be coming through down here. So I'm gonna have to get tricky with the filler and how it's gonna make it there and gravity feed okay. So shouldn't be too big of an issue. I might be overthinking it quite a lot, but man, I'm really liking the way this is turning out. All right, well, as expected, that was pretty easy and got it mounted up. So now we've got a working fuel cap. Simple as that. So now we need to figure out where that's gonna leave us coming through here. I just gotta decide where the hole's gonna go. So I don't wanna make it too big because I want the pipe to come through, and I'll just seal it with some foam tape. That way we don't have outside elements coming in the car through here. But I'm gonna grab the tubing and show that to you guys. It's actually really thick. It's 2¼ inch inner diameter. As you can see here, it's made out of clear tubing so I can see as the fuel's going into the cell. I did buy 3 feet of this. This stuff is really stupid expensive. This is like, I think 50 bucks for this piece of rubber. But you can purchase this through Fuel Safe. They sell it along with their Fuel Safe fuel cells. And this is gonna go on there, like that. So yeah, I'm thinking through here is probably gonna be the best. I went ahead and drilled out about a 3-inch round hole, and I cleared away the sound deadening around here. This is the, honestly, this is, I think, this piece and this piece is the only sound deadening left in the car. But I went ahead and just clearance that out because we're gonna probably be welding on here. I'm actually gonna take a piece of 2¼ aluminum pipe. I'm actually gonna weld it to the back of the filler neck back here. And then we're only gonna be essentially putting rubber tubing from there to there. thankfully Evan's in the shop today and we were able to do some aluminum welding. We went ahead and tacked this up real quick, and I'm gonna go ahead and put some lines on this filler neck so that we can line it up properly, and I'll have him burn it all together, and we've got a nice filler neck. All right guys, well, quick little update. I got everything bolted in. Our fuel filler neck is reaching through. I am gonna build some block off plates that capture this opening around this. But I'm happy with the downhill flow of the fuel. And I did go ahead and get these panels mounted up. They're clecoed in for now so they don't bounce around. But we got a clearance around the tunnel right there. And clecoed into place so that they're nice and solid. Not going anywhere, but you can see that they're going to be pretty noisy if we don't do any treatment on them. But they are temporarily in. I have to drill some more holes and insert the nut certs. That way we can permanently mount them once the car comes back from paint. But I want to get all that stuff in before it does go off the paint. So massive progress. I'm super happy with the direction of the car. I hope you guys are enjoying this content. I know it is quite in depth and we are showing you a lot of the fabrication. I'm cutting out a lot of the boring stuff, but the car is really starting to come together and I'm really excited about the direction of it. So with that, if you guys haven't already signed up to win our Subaru STI at the end of this month, we are giving it away, so just a couple more weeks. Get those entries in and you can enter by heading over to throtl.com. Buy some merchandise, buy a car part, buy a sticker, whatever you want. Every dollar you spend is an entry to win our Subaru STI, which is gonna be going off to one of your homes in just 2 short weeks. So don't miss out. Thank you guys so much for subscribing to our channel. Thank you so much for the likes and comments. We appreciate it. Turn on notifications so you know when we launch the next video for this bad boy. We'll see you guys in the next one.